Hi everyone, and I'm going to start by reading some medical jargonese, which hopefully has no magic left in it. For this incantation, I wouldn't want it to bring any misfortune upon myself or to us. But it is interesting reading of my injury, and it states thus. Comminuted fracture of the distal clavicle with superior displacement of the proximal clavicular fracture fragment by one shaft width and apex superior angulation which appears similar in alignment. No interval progressive healing across the fracture gap. Widening of the corococlavicular interval likely secondary to corococlavicular ligament tear. Mild superior subluxation of the distal clavicular fracture fragment at the acromioclavicular joint without frank dislocation. There, and those are some very expensive words requiring some very expensive fixes. But it summarizes my condition from which I have been now fixed. The oracle who put this incantation together has reassembled me like a used piece of furniture, using pins and pulleys and panels and plates. It's sort of a morbid handyman's job in there to reassemble all of the pieces from what's broken, pulling it back together again to make it functional for some limited time. And still, I don't mean to make light of it. This is a privilege that here in the States that I had the ability to afford this without worrying too much about the roof over my head, whether I'd have enough to eat or be able to pay the bills. In this respect, I would say I am privileged and I am fortunate. Anyway, meditating on what has happened, there's been a lot of symbolism and meaning that I've read into what's happened over the past couple of weeks. None of it's particularly meaningful to talk about because it's mostly just possibilities that now just sort of sit at the back of mind that have been weighed and dismissed for the most part. I don't think any new wisdom has been gained from it, other than perhaps this, that of the bicycles that I own, I do expect to return to road biking. I expect that I will no longer be mountain biking. Back in my 30s, I even raced mountain bikes for a time, just the amateur circuit, nothing fancy, and won a race actually a long time ago. But I'm not in the shape that I was that 20 plus years ago, and it's time to admit that. And so I will be giving up my mountain biking and stick to road and maybe light off-road, fire road type stuff. I guess I'm fortunate that the accident happened as it did and when it did. That is, that I did have a long and fun time without worries about what would happen if I had an accident in the sport. Of course, I've fallen many, many times. I've been injured plenty of times. I've cracked a few ribs. I've lost a knuckle. And I've had various other scrapes and bruises and bumps. But nothing so serious as to require titanium replacements. So that is a first. And if I'm fortunate, it will also be the last time that I will need this type of surgery. So I know this isn't particularly mindful or full of INFP-ish insights for others to use, but I wanted to just pass along the oddity of this medical jargonese, and then a few thoughts and an update that, yes, I am here, I am recovering. I hope that by the end of this month, I may be out of this traction-like sling, and then sometime perhaps by the end of October, that I will be well enough to have life resume more or less with normalcy. That is, things like raking leaves and raking and mulching leaves and doing things around the house, getting the house ready for winter. So I hope that wherever you are, that you are not in any sort of a similar condition, that you're keeping well, that your worries, whether they be economic, health, or other concerns, are, well, kept to a minimum. That you don't have major concerns, and that you're keeping well. So with that, I will sign off. Until soon again. Bye for now.